Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the best goddamn hockey podcast out there. I'm Nikos Michaels, that's James Hicks, and this is the Talking Hockey podcast where we talk about Blackhawks, we talk about the NHL, and we talk about everything in between. This week we finally had hockey, real hockey, not that fake stuff that's preseason slash scrim slash hey, you're on my team. I don't think I could hit you as hard, but I will hit you hard and maybe we'll fight. I don't know. And then guess what? I'm in the best shape of my life. Best shape of my life season.
Oh my
We're still
God.
getting dude, that's literally the definition of everything that happens over preseason and like rookie camps. That's all I hear nonstop is just, man, I'm in the best. This guy who was injured for the last 6 years, he's in the best shape of his life. Jonathan Taves goes over to India, throws up, poops in bags, comes back. He's in the best shape of his life. I guess compared to how he was a year ago. Yeah, yeah, I would agree.
You
I would
can't you can't
concur.
you can't get any worse. Absolutely.
You can't. This is episode 2, if you guys are counting. Thank you guys for viewing our last podcast. 40 views, which is pretty good. That's more than what I thought we would get. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully, whoever is watching out there, keep doing it. Subscribe, like. But yeah, episode 2. So, now that we finally got some real hockey, we figured we would actually talk about it. So, the Blackhawks lost to the Red Wings 3-2 in Detroit. I love their arena. Don't love anything else. So, um,
Hold
yeah,
on. You like Little Caesars Arena
I do. I think it's accessible. I think it's accessible.
compared to the Joe?
Oh, well, I mean, like, I think that's a hard comparison. Like the Joe was a unique arena, and everybody would say that that was the last like home arena where you can go there, and the boards were bouncy. If you're playing there, we're not playing there. In terms of us visiting it, like, I've been there twice, and I think it had a feel, kind of smelled like I don't know. But towards the end of it, no. I've been to Little Caesars now twice, and Little Caesars is great. You ever been there?
No.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I'm not
No, I haven't.
trying to compliment the enemy, but like it is a nice arena. I do like
Really,
it.
dude, here's the thing though. They're not even in the same conference anymore. Is it really complimenting the enemy, being that the NHL killed our rivalry that we had between us?
It's not, so therefore I could say they have a nice arena. Thank God they haven't had any playoff games. So
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
so anyway, besides that, yeah, they lost. The Blackhawks lost 3-2, and um it seemed like the Blackhawks got off to a great first 10 minutes. And then from then on out, the Red Wings were like, "Hey, this is hockey. We're gonna show you how to do it. This is how you skate. This is how you shoot. This is how you form on a power play, and this is how you take penalties. Or this is how you draw penalties." And that's all they did. They showed the Blackhawks exactly how to play. Even though it was a 3-2 game, it didn't seem like a 3-2 game. Um, but based off of just that, how do you feel about this game? How did you take it from here? How do you feel about it?
So, we talked about this a little bit before. I think the shining star of this game was Arvid Soderblom.
Agreed.
You think about it, in the second and third periods, the Blackhawks are getting hemmed in their zone for literally minutes at a time. I feel like every time, Frank Nazar's on the ice, he's out there for 2.5 minutes, and it's just a shooting gallery out on Arvid Soderblom. So he's able to make some really good saves. Ultimately, you felt like that third goal was coming at some point. It was going to come. Unfortunately, was it I think it went in off Oliver Moore, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
It did.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like, at that point, he gets a little bit out of position, making a save. Oliver Moore comes in, tries to save the day. It goes in off him. Unlucky bounce. You know what's going to happen, but the right team won the game. Whether you want however you want to spin it, and that's what happened. I will say I wasn't a fan of Lucas Reichel with Connor Bedard. I just he
No.
doesn't have the skill. He doesn't have the skill set.
Yeah, I think that they're like just these are my quick thoughts about like the whole game, and we'll dissect it a little bit. Was everybody seemed to not know where everybody was going, and I think Jeff Blashill, the coach, he kind of put it perfectly where he said that if you're thinking too much about where you're supposed to be, you're probably not where you're supposed to be, and you're thinking too long about it. And that's how it seemed. There was lots of passes that just didn't go to where people were supposed to be or they thought they were going to be. I think right in the first period, it was um, Del Mascio just gave it was supposed to give it to Renzel and just like sent it 10 feet wide of them, but Renzel wasn't even looking where he was going or where he was supposed to be, and it was like just odd passes from everybody. It really did seem like nobody knew where to go. And I mean, you're going to get that with a bunch of practice players. You're going to get that with a lot of guys who aren't even really going to make the team. Not that this lineup was so full of players that aren't going to make the team that, you're going to be wondering who's who out there because, you have Bedard, you have Nazer, you have Doc, you have Reichel, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, the whole D core, besides, I mean, there are people fighting for the team for spots. Everybody on D was fighting for a spot. So, yeah, that was kind of concerning. But you know, there was a couple other things like Moore and Nazar, they passed a little bit too much. There wasn't enough shooting. This was the most Artem Leshinov game I've ever watched in my life. Like, oh my God, he's so good with the puck. He's skating so quick. Oh, he made a great pass. Oh my God, he just passed it to the other team. It's a 2-on-1. And then, oh my God, he's just out of position, just dangling his stick everywhere. He gets a holding call, which I kind of disagreed with, but he's just everywhere and nowhere on the ice, and but he makes up with it for his speed, and then it's such a he's so annoying. He's so annoying. He literally does piss me off. Um, I thought Connor Bedard the great. I think that he had great. I was actually surprised by his two-way game he had in this. But I will say on the other side of it, while he looked good, it looked like he was kind of pushing himself to beat Nate Danielson. Nah, I might just made that name up. It's Nate Danielson. It is Nate Danielson. I'm right this time. That just sounds like an NPC that you would find in year six of a NHL franchise mode. So I just went with it. But yeah, Nate Danielson, real guy. Drafted ninth overall, I believe, 2 years ago. There you go. That's my knowledge. Um, but yeah, those two had a great battle, but it did look like Bedard stood out because he should. Um, Wyatt Kaiser was probably the only defenseman that I was like, wow, you look okay. Like, wow, I was okay with your game for the most part. But like at the same time, he still kind of looked whack. So I don't know. Um,
Didn't the entire team though?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, to go like super, I guess, into detail of it, it's like first period, like I said, they looked like they were cycling well. Looked like they got into the zone pretty good. Their entries were like very crisp. And then I don't know what happened between the 10-minute mark and the rest of the game, but it looked like they were like skating uphill and nobody had skates on. And it was just like I don't know where the passes were going. I don't know where people were going. And it kind of brought me back to thinking about how, you know, people are going to be looking at this game like, man, I want to see everybody perform at the highest level because they're trying to make this team. But at the same time, it's like you got to think of it from a human level where they're learning a new system. There is a lot of players who aren't going to make this team. So a lot of the players that aren't going to make this team, are going to make it hard for you to know where they're going to be because maybe they're not at the level you're at. Like if this were just the regular Blackhawks team, like I feel like a lot of the ins and outs, the regular stuff, like through the neutral zone, your backwards passes in the D zone, those would be a lot more fluid. Even if they're not the best team, you would still have a system that carries you because you want to get rid of the thinking. but they were doing a lot of thinking to know where to be. And it to me, it sounds like I'm making a lot of excuses for why players just didn't figure it out. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Um, I mean, I guess from that standpoint, like I completely understand where you're coming from. You know, when you say they didn't know where they were supposed to be. I guess if they were playing a complete full lineup and would have played like that, we're probably having a little bit of a different discussion right now
Yeah.
in terms of how alarming is this truly? Because we did have a pretty rookie heavy lineup last night, and you just mentioned it too. You're trying to learn a new system. You haven't really had a chance to. I guess it's the first time it's being implemented, so maybe we should be a little bit more patient and you know figure by I don't know. I would hope the middle of November they have this figured out, but it's what was it last night? I'm trying to remember what period it was in. Bedard's behind the net throws this beautiful backhand pass
Oh
out into the
yeah.
slot,
I
and I
know
think it
that.
was to Reichel, and it kind of just was like a little bit out of his reach, and you're thinking, okay, Bedard knows how to pass. I'm not putting it more so on the passes. If he was throwing it to a bigger player, they probably get that. So I guess what I'm getting at here in my non-making sense rant here is that as the season goes along, the players are going to be able to be a little bit more familiarized with the system and how it works. Um, so I'm thinking maybe we might want to revisit that a little bit, just as the season goes along.
Yeah, I want to like I do kind of want to like not put a pin, but I want to like kind of zero in on some of the lines because I mean I think it's important though to realize last night or was it last night? Last night, um, Blashill gave Colton Dock and gave Lucas Reichel top line minutes with Bedard, and they play there the entire game. And I will say, for the most part, I actually didn't mind Doc's play. I mean, like the pass that he missed from Artie to get that breakaway, and he takes a penalty immediately after to negate the icing. It was like, okay, that's just kind of on him. Like if he has more of a skill level and he's up to that level of play, he would have stopped that pass, and that's sort of that's the individual skill level, in my opinion. Maybe I mean he had to expect it because he looked behind him and he tried to stop it. So I mean that's you're trying to stay offside or trying to stay onside. You're also trying to stop the pass. But anyway, to take the penalty immediately after is like, you just you just kind of you need to take a penalty. There's no reason to take a penalty behind the net after going in with it.
Yeah,
And like that kind of annoyed me. But I think for the most part, I mean, he got the puck on net. He seemed strong against players. He did push some dudes around. We need a dude who's going to push people around now that Pat Maroon's gone. So um, I think he did his job for the most part. Is he a first line winger? Absolutely not.
glad we're on the same page there.
Like
Shout out, shout out, shout
absolutely
out,
not.
shout out Patty Maroon though.
Yeah,
Hope he's
yeah.
having fun in retirement. I don't know if I told you this. When I took my 2-year-old Jimmy to his first Blackhawks game, and we're standing by the glass, and Pat Maroon actually flipped me a puck for my son.
That's cool.
So I will never slander Pat Maroon ever again.
No, no, I won't. I've always liked him. I always thought he was cool, and I've enjoyed. I think he's gonna go in the media soon because he's been doing like he did a lot of podcasts last year during the season, and I've always enjoyed listening to him. I think he's actually. I mean, I think you got to be smart to have that long of a career and kind of be that role that he has. So,
So
despite all the
would you like to come on the Best Damn podcast, Pat
yeah,
Maroon?
Pat
Question mark?
Maroon. He probably would if we asked him. Honestly,
Dude,
he
that
probably
would be
would.
sick.
He probably would. I could just reach out. I could just ask him. But anyway, I think Colton Dock for whatever it's worth. I hope that one day he ends up being like a third, second line power forward at peak, like not last season Tom Wilson, but the season prior to that, where he's like 50 points and you're like, okay, well, at least he hits people. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm totally good with him. If he ends up being 50% of Tom Wilson, I'm good. I'm good.
Minus
Now
all
on
the
the other,
dirty hits and the suspensions.
sure, but sometimes you need that. You love that when he's on your team. You love
Fair.
that when he's on your team. Um, Now on the opposite end of this is Lucas Reichel playing with Bedard. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. I'm so done. That's it. That is absolutely it. I can't. That pass that you mentioned earlier where Bedard makes is amazing because he's looking right at him. That wasn't just like
Right.
a Hail Mary hope that this backhand pass gets to someone in the slot. He's looking right at him. And whether or not Reichel got to that position or he just whiffed on it, or I don't know what it is, but you need to put yourself in that position to be able to know that well, A, you're not going to go to the right side because you're in the middle of the ice. B, you're not going to jump to the left side of the ice because you're in the middle of the ice. And C, if Bedard has the puck, why would he go to either one of those sides besides go to the middle of the ice? So, like, it's
Right.
easier for me, an overweight man who's never going to make the NHL, to say, why didn't he think about that? But I sit here and I question, why didn't he think about that? So, um, that's just my questioning of it. And it's not the question like that I thought, oh, did the sewer the fucking guy? But it's like you get a first line opportunity to play with Connor Bedard in the preseason. Like you need to be one of the best players. Like you need to be a standout guy. And because he wasn't a standout guy, and honestly, he disappeared again in a preseason game, it's like, dude, I'm just done with you. I am so done with this.
Well, and it goes back to something we talked about last week, and it was a point that I made of how many more opportunities are you going to give this guy? Here again,
Yeah.
last night, he gets a prime opportunity to play with Connor Bedard on the top line. And like you said, completely disappears. He disappears harder than Mitch Marner in the first round of the playoffs, okay?
Hey, he's
Just kidding.
good games 1 through 4.
I'm just kidding. But at some point, like we talked about last week, you're gonna have to figure it out. If you get to play with one of the most skilled players on your team and you still don't know where to go on the ice or figure it out, like at least do something to help your team like get on the scoreboard. I'm not saying you got to
Yeah.
score goals, you got to get assists. There are other ways that you contribute to your team without getting on the score sheet.
Listen, Chris Kunitz made his career by just going to the net and planting his stick for Sidney Crosby to put it on there and go in the net. That's literally all Chris Kunitz. Guess what? Chris Kunitz is on this staff. So Reichel could literally just ask him what he did to be
He's
successful.
he's a Blackhawks legend.
I love Chris Kunitz. I've actually talked to Chris Kunitz a couple times actually, not like actually outside of a random hockey thing. I met him at some like media situation and it had nothing to do with hockey. And I was just talking with him about something random. I was like, I don't think it wasn't about hockey either. I knew who he was.
Mhm.
Obviously, he didn't know who I was, but it was just a random conversation. And I was like, by the way, big fan of you in Pittsburgh. And I was like, congrats on the career. And he was like, wait, you know who I was? I was like, yeah. You're Chris fucking Kunitz. But yeah, that's not here or there. But anyway, but my point being, I just pulled the greatest analogy for Lucas Reichel. Just ask. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's easier said than done to just ask to be good. But like, I don't know. I'm just done with it. I'm just so done. I'm just this. We honestly should be here right now. He shouldn't be on this team. He should have been traded, and now he's gonna get traded for peanuts, if not just in the AHL. And that's it. I mean, like, I know
Yep.
and that's the overreaction part, right, of this whole thing. But it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, how else are we supposed to react? But not like it's like opening up the fridge and you have spilled milk in there, and then you just close the fridge and hope that it's gone when you open it up again. And it's like, oh no, it's still here. Oh,
Here,
damn.
I got the perfect trade idea for you.
Okay.
Lucas Reichel to San Jose for
Okay.
Philip Kurashev.
Can we talk about that really quick? Okay. I understand that Kurashev was literally just a Bedard merchant and that he
Mhm.
was that, but sometimes if you have a guy who works with somebody, maybe just keep them with them. I mean, like Matt Molson left John Tavares and was just a career AHLer. And that's what that was. But every time he had, I think I don't know, I'm just guessing. I think he had like 300 and something career NHL points, and I'm almost positive 300 of them came with John Tavares. Um, so like, some players are just made to be with a guy. And I thought that Kurashev was great with Connor Bedard in the time that he was here. But, I don't know. I know he didn't work out with literally anybody else, but that's
So I,
I
I
don't know.
was curious. I had to look this up. Matt Molson actually had 369 career points.
Oh, dude, I just guessed. I just guessed he had
Oh no, I know.
370.
No, no, no,
That's
I know. I
crazy.
was I was just curious. And 223 of those came with the Islanders.
Dude, I literally just guessed. That was just at the top of the
I know.
dome.
No, you had me curious though. I was thinking about that and I'm like,
Dude, what
because
time is
I
it? Game time. That's what that is.
that is the cringiest shit I've ever heard right there. Don't ever fucking do that again.
It's a Bulls reference. That's a Bulls reference in the
I know.
90s. Whatever the fuck
Yeah,
game time. Whatever, man.
I guess
Whatever,
I
man.
guess you watched too much of The Last Dance. I guess one too many
Listen,
times, eh?
I've watched that like 8 times. So yeah, I've watched it too many
Good
times. It's
because
great.
it's good.
It's so good. Anyway, with
But back to yeah,
my amazing callback to Matt Molson and John DeVar. Now that's a pull. Now that's a pull. I might
that's a
record
poll.
this just so I could have it on record that I pulled that out of my ass and
You
guessed the
you
right
should
the over.
send that to Matt Molson and get him on the podcast.
I just can't believe I just almost guessed his career points and almost guessed exactly the amount of the points he had with John Tavares. Anyway, but yeah, you get what I'm saying with Kurashev though.
Yeah,
Like I think that's whatever. I mean, I understand. Maybe you want somebody who does a little bit more for you on any other line and not just completely disappear. Do you know what? Who would you rather have? A Kurashev or Reichel? Does it matter? I guess not.
I mean, to that point though, because I feel like Kurashev was basically, and I use this term loosely, given the shaft. I mean, considering he played here, he started out his career basically in Rockford, worked his way up to be able to get into the NHL with the Blackhawks. He has
Yeah.
one bad year, and all of a sudden it's the end of the world. But we're going to give Lucas Reichel his 25th or so opportunity, and we're just going to shaft Kurashev. I do not understand that for the life of me.
He wasn't a Kyle Davidson guy. He wasn't a Kyle Davidson guy. I don't think he was drafted by Kyle Davidson.
No, I think the last player that got drafted by Bowman was that. Trying to think. Last notable
Nolan
draft pick,
Allen.
if I'm wrong. Nolan Allen. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So I think
yeah.
that's why he got the shaft was just he wasn't a Kyle Davidson guy and he has a mold for a team that he wants to build and your first don't even know if Reichel's his now Reichel is his guy.
If that hasn't been made apparently known, it is.
Yeah.
And if Kyle Davidson wants to come on our podcast and get ripped apart for this, I'm all for it. I'll be nice and respectful about it. But I don't know how you can sit here in this day and age, right here, right now, on September 24th, 2025, and say that Lucas Reichel is not a Kyle Davidson guy.
Who knows? I mean, we're gonna see what happens. If I don't know what you even get him for. It's useless. I'm so down on him That sucks. It sucks,
So
but I'm so down on them.
I guess my question to you is what's the over under for the amount of games before Blashill decides to get him to the moon and send him to Rockford? You thinking 10?
I don't think he makes the team.
I would be all in favor of that. Please, for my
Yeah.
sanity.
I honestly think if he doesn't make this team, they might do something where they just say, I mean, he's young enough to you want to keep the asset, but at the same time, if
Because is
he's
he
not
waiver
making,
eligible?
I don't know. I don't know that answer, but um, my thing is that
Nobody wants him either.
they might terminate his contract and just let him do what he wants to do and sign somewhere else. But he's young enough to where you might not want to do that. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is with him, and I don't think the Blackhawks know what the answer is with him either. So. I don't know. But let's move on to this other line with Oliver Moore, Frank Nazar. Is it Nazar? Nazar? I feel like I
It's
literally
Nazar.
Nazar. Do I keep saying Nazar? Nazar. And Aiden Thompson. I think that the wheels were too fast for the ball. There was there was too many times where they were just zooming, and it was like, all right, we gotta like slow it down just a tad, and we gotta like put it on net guys, and that's all we need to do. Also, why did it seem like they kind of alienated Adam Thompson on that line? It seemed like it was just between Nazar and Nazer and Moore, and Thompson was just kind of there, and I don't really think it was his fault. In the
Yeah.
one chance that he did get, like he made the pass, and uh, that was kind of it. Like other than that, that's the whatever. I think they'll work that out. I think they'll work that out. I'm not worried. I want Oliver Moore to make this team because he's fast and it's cool to see a player be able to get and beat people on forechecks and get it, dig it, and throw it back up high. Um, I just think we need to work on the execution of where we're taking shots, when we're taking shots, and when we need to make the passes. Because there was too many NCAA plays out there where I'm seeing Moore go and dump it into the corner, but then think that he's going to be able to go and grab it immediately after dumping. And it's like, my guy, you're going against the top skill in the world. That's not going to work here every single time. They're going to know what you're doing. You may be the fastest guy in the NCAA, but here it's a little bit different. So, you got to kind of get those kinks out of there. But I don't know. What did you think of them?
Um, yeah, I did like Nazar and Moore together. Kind of like you. I'll be honest with you, before last night, I had no idea who Aiden Thompson was.
Yeah.
Um, he's I think he has potential. Um, I was not a fan of that penalty that he took last night, even though
No.
I wasn't a fan of the penalty, but at some point, this is the NHL. You can't put yourself in these positions as well. I think he's got potential. He's one of the guys I don't think is making the team.
No.
Um, I think that's pretty much a given. Now,
No.
if he makes the team and makes an asshole out of me, then so be it. Go Aiden Thompson. I'll root for you because I root for any Blackhawk except for Lucas Reichel.
Yeah, I don't think Thompson's making the team. It's not really his fault though. I think that it's just they'll come. You just gotta, no. The reason why we're not going in on Aiden Thompson is because we know a lot about Lucas Reichel and where he's at in terms of the pyramid of power on this team. Aiden Thompson is just not. He's just not there. Like if
Well,
Oliver Moore and Frank didn't do anything last night, I would be like, well, what the fuck's happening there? But at least they had some impact where I was like, all right, at least you had chances, at least you had opportunities. You messed them up, but at least you had opportunities and you gave yourself those opportunities to go in and do it. So like I like
absolutely.
that. Now, if you compare it to like the Ryan Green, Sam Lafferty, Joey Anderson line, okay. I mean, what did you really expect out of that? I don't know. Yeah, I like Ryan Green a lot. I'm hoping that he ends up being the third line slash second line winger or center for the Blackhawks eventually someday. Maybe not second line center, but the guy who could come up there in a pinch. But like, I hope that one day he ends up being that player. he did come up last season with the Blackhawks. And I actually think he was pretty decent in his little run. So I don't know. It's a third line in the preseason. I'm not gonna go into that. And then you go into the last line of Vanacker, Donato, and Pridham, and it's like two of the three guys on that line are going back to juniors today. So
Yeah, Van Ecker's already gone. He already got sent back to.
yeah, so did Jack. So both of them are gone. And I actually think Jack Pridham was actually pretty decent last night. I mean, he tried doing that toe drag shoot shot, and he also had a couple
Yeah,
times where he was back checking. He was kind of in the middle of a couple things too. So um, that's fine. I'm glad as long as he keeps the trajectory going in Kitchener and he continues developing, then great for him. But yeah, I mean, the bottom six here is like Ryan Green, Sam Lafferty are probably the only players that are going to make this team, if that, if Ryan
that's
Green.
fair.
Um, but that's the forwards. Did you have anything other thoughts on the forwards?
Um, Not really. I mean,
Okay.
it kind of is what it was. Nothing really. They weren't good, but I wouldn't say they were like totally trash. But like nothing really to like get excited about. Like this is our
Yeah.
bottom six. It's first game of the preseason, so I'm also trying to keep a level head on it too, and realize that a lot of these guys are going to be rookies. They're going to be making mistakes. If this is game 42 with a full stacked Blackhawks lineup making these mistakes, then
Yeah,
we're
I'm
we're
freaking
probably
out.
we're talking about another potential. We're talking about Gavin McKenna at that point.
Man, I can't wait for the day where you see me actually freak out on one of these podcasts. I'm like, come on, Aaron, and be like, what the fuck were they doing tonight? And just go,
What are you? So you're going to be like Frank the Tank, the Mets
uh,
insider?
oh my God. I actually, the only time that no, I shouldn't say this is not the only time. There's been multiple times during the Leafs' last 10 years run that I have actually blown a blood vessel in my eyes. So like, I can get angry about this stuff, but I'm saving that anger for when it's worth it. Lucas Reichel is not worth it. So,
Oh, he
um,
is, but just a little bit. We just need to even keel ourselves, though.
Lucas
Keep
Reichel's gonna
keep
gonna
it nice
be
and level.
Lucas Reichel's gonna be an oh yeah in like 2 years. So he's
He'll end up on as a trivia question, in 20 years about who was the worst Blackhawks player in the 2025-2026 season.
man. All right, so here's the defensive pairs with White Kaiser, Arden Levshnoff. We kind of mentioned a little bit of the Artie party earlier. Um, yeah, dude was all over the place. Don't I don't understand him sometimes. I know there's like an actual language barrier between the two of us, but like I don't understand him. I don't know. Sometimes he looks like he's totally locked in and we're ready to go. He could skate past guys with like little to no effort. And then there's other times where like on the power play, he gives up a 2-on-1 and gives that stupid pass. And it was like, what are we doing, man? Like, what are we actually doing? Um, I don't know. Its spacing was good. Spacing was fine. I think like on entries, and I was trying to really zoom in on him, like when they entered the zone, like how he positioned his body and especially his stick. And it seemed like he gives players too much room on the stick side towards the boards, which I mean, I guess you'll work on that as the speed comes along to you because he uses his speed to kind of catch up and angle players off. But like I think body wise, he's all over the place. Like when they cut into the inside, uh I think he relies too much on the center. So I don't know. I don't know. It's one game, but it was very arty. It was very arty game. And I'm gonna make this comparison right now, just get it out for a while in the preseason. He kind of reminds me, and I only know a lot about this because I did a whole deep dive and I watched like at least 67 games worth of play by Cam Barker. And I'm only going to say this because Cam Barker was not a good skater. Terrible skater. Everyone knew he was a bad skater. So the comparison here is very, it's just with the high draft pick. Cam Barker was very good offensively. He had really good skill sets in terms of like placing the puck in good pluck and good positioning with his stick. But boy, did he just get ran over with like going to the net guys, and anybody that wanted the puck from him would get the puck from him. Now, like Artie, he can hold the puck and he can do that sort of thing. I think that you need to work on the positioning. And I think it's literally just positioning with him. And I don't know if that's just through experience that you need to like continue playing and just feel it out with your body. But yeah, I don't know. He was a mixed bag last night.
Well, and it is starting his second. He will be starting his second season. Um, of I know that he played a lot in the AHL last year. Figure he'll probably get a little bit of time again in the NHL this year as they try to work his development. These are probably things that he's going to work on, and ultimately, you hope he gets better and develops at least a little bit more with it. Every time he goes out there and plays, within the Rockford organization. So I'm not overly worried about Artem Leshmanov from that aspect because Rockford does have one of the best farm systems in the NHL in the
Yes.
regular season. And then, sorry, I'm ragging on my boys right now, but they're not good in the playoffs. I don't know what it is. But back to what we were talking about here. You know, I think he'll be fine. I think he needs consistency, I think, too, with what he's being told. And I think everybody needs to get on the same page for his development as well, because that could be part of it.
Yeah, I just don't know. No, I haven't watched enough of him in college, and I think last season, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I watched every single game of Rockford because I didn't. But like, from what I've been told and from what I read, by told I mean like podcast people have told me, not
Mhm.
me personally, but the public. Um, but anyway, like this is kind of who he is right now, and at the best peak of what he could possibly be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're so fluid with the comparisons to who we want him to be. Like we want him to be like Keith, we want him to be like Seabrook. It's like so we gotta let this guy be who he wants to be. You know,
Absolutely.
and that's kind of like what it is. Like whatever he ends up being, I hope that it's a top four, top two defenseman. And he's obviously a young guy, and defensemen take longer, and rada rada rada. Like there's that's it. I mean, that's kind of what it is. Now his defensive partner, Wyatt Kaiser. Did you have any other thoughts on Artem, by the way?
No, I thought you summarized that pretty well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So Wyatt Kaiser, I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. I think that he could have maybe went to the corners a little bit tougher, but I mean, other than that, it was like I don't know how much it seemed like for him it was like when he wanted to try, he tried, and that's what it was. I think there was a lot of times for him he was like, oh, he looked around, saw what was happening, was like, ah, whatever. Like, and that's fine. I think he did what he needed to do. He got pucks on net, scored a goal. Um, I mean, hey, I mean that's kind of it. I think he out of everybody, I think he looked the most ready to be put into an NHL lineup. So good for him.
Let me ask you this. Do you think can I ask you something about that really quick?
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to Wyatt Kaiser being the most ready to be in an NHL lineup, do you think the fact that he was fighting for a contract plays a part in that?
I think that, well, they're never going to admit it, but I think everybody was like, this guy's making the team. They're going to give him a contract. He's going to be here, and that's kind of, I don't think anybody who who's trying to fight to get a contract. Also, it's not like he was in the the meetings probably for the most part for any of these contract negotiations. So, he's just waiting for his agent to give him the call when they get the right contract. But I think the way he plays is like that's just what you're kind of gonna get in the preseason game. I think it's just to get out there, get the feels, get how you're going, and
Fullback, absolutely.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's where like I'm hard on some players because they should be fighting really hard for a spot, like Lucas Reichel, versus like Wyatt Kaiser, who just signed an extension. The Blackhawks want him. He knows the Blackhawks want him, and he was the best defenseman, however you want to put it. I think that he was. You compare it to this next guy, Ethan Del Mastro, who like, yeah, like I said, the passes were crazy. He didn't even. I think he made like 5 out of like 12 attempted passes. It wasn't great. Not even five. Probably made three out of the attempted passes. It was not great. I don't even think Sam Renzel looked that great either. I think both. That's not a good pairing. That is not a good pairing. I don't think either of them complement each other at all. I think they are polar opposites. I did not like it. Um,
I mean, and that's
did
fair.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give Renzel a little bit of a pass here.
yeah.
You know,
Me too.
considering he played in what, 5 NHL games last year at the end of the season.
Yeah, 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, him. I mean, and even with Del Mastro, I mean, because he still needs development help. He's going to be another guy that starts in Rockford. He's a guy who will hopefully do what he's supposed to, so that if anybody does indeed go down in that lineup, he can possibly be your first call up. To where it's not like, crap, we have a bunch of guys in Rockford who we don't know who to call up, and we're just gonna say fuck it and just do it. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think Louis Crevier is trying to be that seventh guy, so when they call somebody up, like they won't be playing. But
Hmm.
like I think that but honestly, I think everybody that played last night is fighting for that spot, fighting for one of
Mm.
the last spots. Whether the last, I mean, I think you are just gonna play Louis Crevier. Louis Crevier is literally the Blackhawks. I don't know why every couple years we get a 6'8" guy that is
Love
just,
Louis Crevier.
yeah, he's just here. Like, what was the last guy? Victor Svedberg. Remember him?
Victor, that is a pull right there. Yes, Victor Svedberg. Yes.
Like the random 7D that was 6'8". I don't know. We just have random guys who just are drafts.
Well,
Uh,
I mean, think about it. Last year when Crevier was healthy, he played a lot with Vlasic, and I think it was Rick Ball who referred to him last year, and I laughed, kind of like not trying to go there. But the Blackhawks, I think, were playing the Rangers, and he referred to Crevier and Vlasic as our twin towers, and I'm like, oh my
jeez.
god. I'm like, dude, Jesus Christ! Like, you can't, like, I don't know if
That's
I would
funny.
have put that like that, but like, I would have. I mean, I would have thought of 100 different ways to describe them. But I mean, you think they're two big-bodied defensemen. I mean, um,
There's a
so I like
lot.
seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I,
that's
I
that's
liked I liked seeing them paired together, though. Um,
hmm.
so I do think that Crevier fits well within this organization. He's another guy who probably needs a little bit more work with development. Um, not every one of these defensemen coming in are gonna be absolute gems right off the bat like Vlasic.
You know, because I am such a big I mean maybe not so much anymore, but because like I paid very, very close attention to the Maple Leafs. They're for like years on years. They had this guy Marty Marincin, who was their seventh D guy, who would always get into games randomly, and it would just be the seventh defenseman. And literally, I would say for like 5, 6 years, he was their extra guy. Never a regular, would maybe get into like maybe 20 games, and that's what it was every single season. Whenever they were home for long stretches, he'd go play in the AHL because he could pass through waivers and nobody would take him. And it was just like he was just their guy. I kind of see Louis Crevier as that guy. And, that's a good role to have. I mean, you have consistent, he's like a backup quarterback. Like that's the one to be. I think that's what he's fighting for. Whether or not he likes it, I think his floor is that's it. I think you get what you get, and you hope that it's above, a little bit above replacement, just a little bit above replacement level player. Everybody else on like we didn't even mention KK. I mean, Kevin Korchinski literally sucked. Like literally sucked. And I think that was a terrible look for him to come out there last night and look absolutely lost. Not only lost, he got beat by random guys on the puck. It was like, dude, like I don't know if it's I mean, I understand everyone has different ways they come about the game. Everybody has different approaches. And I think about it with like Bedard. He spent this entire summer working out with the best players, figuring out how he can get stronger, how he can become a better player, and we're all complimenting him on that level. And we're like, for a 20-year-old, that's the type of competitive spirit, whatever you want to call it, that you want to see for probably your future captain on the team. And you want to see that development because he's our number one pick, blah, blah, blah. For
Yeah.
like Kevin Korchinski, it's like I haven't heard one story of him working out. I haven't heard like one thing. I haven't heard him say he's in the best shape of his life, and everybody's throwing that out there. I haven't heard him say that once. So maybe he's not, but I don't know. It's just like I think about that sometimes, where it's like maybe some players just aren't built that way, aren't thinking of approaching the game or approaching their everyday life of like, I need to be the absolute best I can be to make. And maybe he is. I don't know him personally, but like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, I just don't think you should be getting beat by pucks, and we keep using the excuse that he's 20 years old. But it's like, but and I know Bedard and trying to compare Bedard, defenseman, blah blah blah. It's like it's hard to do that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just think that he should like I feel like we should be hearing stories of him working out massive amounts. We should hear about how much weight he's put on or how much quicker he's become or like, if you're a guy who was a former first round pick who's supposed to make this team, I feel like we should be hearing those like they're nothing burger stories. They're just random shit that you want to fill and get clicks on during the summer. But like at the same time, it's like, I'd like to think that the like that we aren't lying about Bedard, you know? Like we're
Right.
not lying when I hear stories about how Austin Matthews is coming into this season the heaviest he's ever been, and he does look legitimately fucking big because he wanted to bulk up this season. It's like, I see it's noticeably different. For Kevin Korchinski, it's like, man, you can't become just a random fucking dude. Like,
Well, and right, like you did mention, like he's a former first round pick. The Blackhawks took him seventh overall in 2022. He's almost 100 games into his NHL career.
yeah,
We have no idea what direction he's going in. To where, and I'm not trying to compare him and Bedard because I don't feel like it's a fair comparison, just
right.
because one's a forward and one's a defenseman. But I feel like you look at like a Brent Seabrook or a Duncan Keith. We kind of knew. I was maybe I'm speaking for myself here. I don't know. I felt like the Blackhawks knew, at least by their 100th game, what they were getting. Granted, it may not have been perfect all the time. Same thing with like a Jalmerson, but at the same time, they saw these guys take steps to improve their game and look lost on the ice. Like you mentioned before, like he was getting beat by random people. And at some point, if you can only play so many games in Rockford, at least for me, before you do end up becoming a Lucas Reichel, where cool, you can light it up in Rockford, you can play really well, but ultimately at some point you're gonna have to take the next step. And I don't know if we're gonna get that from KK yet.
Yeah, I play the maybe we should take it easy game with him, and I play the maybe we are being too hard sort of game too much mentally in my head for him. And it's like, I think I'll quote Chris Pronger when he said that you don't really know what you have with a player until they played 300 games in the league. And like by then, you will know exactly who they are. And if you, but that's only if you make it, right? That's only if you
Mhm.
make it 300 games. And then once you make the 300 games, you kind of know who they are as a player. Um, I mean, he's 20 years old, and I guess that's kind of it. It's 20 years old, and that's you'll figure it out when you figure it out, I guess. And I don't know. I just hope that somebody comes out and like, I don't know. I just don't think he should be getting beat by like physically beat by some players that are out there. I mean, like I get it. That's like everybody gets beat. You know, Patrick Kane gets beat in corners by guys, and, in a different position. But that he gets beat by guys. So it's not like that's like a crazy thing to say. But at the same time, it's like if you're a defenseman and you're not going to be probably not going to be in the top four. You're going to be that bottom pair guy, you're gonna want to beat guys. Like you don't want to get beat physically, and that's the role that they're carving out for you. You need to carve it out yourself. I don't know. It's again, it's like, hey, am I gonna fucking say at 20 years old I had it all figured out? No, but like. I'm not also getting paid this amount of money to go and I'm not being supported by one of the best organizations, the original six franchise that maybe they should be doing these things to get him mentally in the space to be one of the top guys physically to be like, hey, this is what you should be doing. And maybe they are. I don't know. But I mean, lots of
And
questions
maybe
with him.
right, and maybe too, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit. You know, I'm wondering just how soft the front office is on some of these guys. That maybe putting a little bit of mental pressure on them wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. I think, as we've talked about a little bit before, I think Lucas Reichel's a little bit past that. Like you said, I think he's gone. But your Korchinskis, your Kaisers, these younger guys who maybe have some stuff that they do need to figure out, you know, put that on them, see how they respond. Because, one of the, and I'll speak from my experience. Um, when I was in sports and, I only say this from an athlete perspective, you're not basically doing, I guess, you're not being all that you can be in that particular sport. And, maybe your coach takes you aside and says, if this is something that you want to do and you want to get better at, you kind of need to start taking some steps to improve yourself and re-evolve yourself in whatever sport that is. And I think a lot of these guys need to have that tough conversation, and just try to see where do they want to take their career? Because here's my thing: if you have that conversation with a player and they go, "Oh, well," not that anybody's going to admit this. Well, I think I'm most likely a career AHL type guy. That's fine and dandy. You can go do that somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I keep thinking of it like, the players that have the most, and this is in any sport, the players that have the most success are the guys who are that you see working on their craft every single day, doing something every single day to make themselves better. Sidney Crosby is the first guy in the locker or on the ice for practice every single day. He's the first guy who's going to be there for uh every single practice or every single thing that you need him to do. He'll be the first guy in, last guy out. And Connor Bedard has become that guy. He's the first guy in, last guy out type of guy. And not everybody is like that, because if everybody was, we'd be full of freak athletes who do this sort of thing, and I understand that. um and I know it just took a long fucking a long fucking stop on Kevin Korchinski, but it's like, if he wants it, he has to want it, and I think that that's sort of where it's at. And I don't want to speak for him to be like he doesn't want it. I assume he wants it, but it's just like I don't know. I don't know. I think that I don't know for whatever reason that triggered me seeing him getting pushed off the puck last night, like so many times in the ways that I did, and I was like, man, dude, what are we doing?
You
Um,
know, and
yeah,
to loosely quote Bruce Boudreau here, um, he gave a speech when he was coaching with the Capitals. You know, don't just think you want it, go out there and fucking want it. And I feel like a lot of these guys don't realize the opportunities that they have in front of them. Like a lot of these, a lot of these, more seasoned vets, and as we're seeing at least what I've seen from past years, you know, the younger guys should be hungry to want to get in that lineup and should, ultimately their goal should be to want to play in the NHL. But if you're not going to do things to help yourself obtain your goals, then I don't know what to tell you. Other
right.
people can't want it for you. You're gonna have to want it yourself. But
Yeah.
I
Uh,
digress, and that's my final
yeah.
thoughts on Kevin Korchinski.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, it's one game, but that's sometimes that's all it takes. So
Mhm.
we'll see where he ends up being in the next game. I mean, we get Arvid Soderblom had an amazing
Soderblom,
Soderblom. We got there. He had an amazing game. I have no notes. He was the best Blackhawk.
absolutely. As we talked about before, coming up with huge saves. He looked dialed in last night, and I think usually the first preseason game for the goalies, you're switching out halfway through the game, and I think he definitely earned playing that whole game last night.
Yeah,
We've I think seen Artem Arvid Soderblom take some tremendous steps from 2 years ago when he really was an automatic loss in that. And I think he'll be the first one to admit that. Really took some time. He's one of those guys who he took some time to work on his game. The Blackhawks go out and get a guy like Laurent Brossoit, and Brossoit gets injured, and you're thinking, holy shit, who's going to be the backup goalie to Mrazek? Then you see a guy like Soderblom get that opportunity. He's done nothing but take and run with it. So I
yeah.
think from that aspect, if other guys wanted to maybe look at that sort of type scenario and realize that because that's a once in a lifetime thing. If Soderblom didn't play as well as he did last year, he's not anywhere near this team this year. He's not getting that contract extension. And he's written off by everyone in the fan base and everybody in the organization, in my opinion, at least.
No, I agree completely. I mean, that's like, and honestly, to just kind of wrap it with the game, I think with what you want out of your backup is to give you a chance to win. And he gets maybe 25 to 30 starts a season, and if he can win you, over 60% of those wins. I mean, that's all you can really ask for. I mean, if he ends up, overtaking Spencer Knight to be the starter, I think everyone's fine with that too. That's just what it is. I mean, like, I want him to succeed, but ultimately, what I want is a good backup, and
That's
that's
fair.
kind of that's where I'm at with him. So he did great. Um, but yeah, so that was our overreaction of the preseason game.
I like
Um,
how we said we weren't going to talk that long about the game,
yeah.
and then we spend like 45 minutes talking about the game. That's hilarious.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Okay,
You got more content.
we gave you our thoughts though, and our maybe slight overreactions with some of the things.
Yeah.
When it comes to players, but God, doesn't it feel good to get some of that off your chest though?
I can't wait till when we next week when we have two games to talk about, and I get the
Oh man,
and I get to complain twice as much.
our
But
4 hour
anyway,
special. I love it.
not. So anyways, what do you guys think of the first preseason game between the Blackhawks and the Red Wings? Red Wings won 3-2. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. All right, this is the part of the show where James goes off the rails, and he
Oh
gets to talk
man,
about and he gets to talk about how much he hates the Chicago Sports Net. I don't even know what this is. Chicago Sports Network app. Uh,
Yeah,
What's it called?
Chicago
What
Sports Network, CHSN. I don't even know
yeah.
what is the Chicago Hockey Sport, or I don't know. I don't even know what the
Yeah.
hell the acronym's for. But anyways, I digress. First of all, this app sucks. I flipped on the game and it took me disconnecting my internet from my smart TV and re-putting it up, even though I get gigabyte speed internet. The damn thing was buffering so goddamn much that it like almost made the first period unwatchable. And I'm not kidding. I almost turned it off and didn't watch it. Um,
Okay.
Not only that, it's over a minute and a half delay on it. So I'm getting alerts to my phone before stuff's even happening. And I'm like, okay, like literally, I didn't know it was on that much of a delay until the game is over and there's like a minute and 45 seconds left in the third. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, now granted, I'm using my parents' DirecTV login for this, so I don't have to pay for this crap.
Don't out
Um,
yourself, man. They'll come for you.
no, no, no. I'm just, oh yeah, good point. I can't believe you're forcing people to pay 20 fucking dollars a month when it's not even fucking live. Like that blows my mind.
I
And
actually
Marquis the
think
same way.
I actually think last night's game was free. I don't know if it was or not.
Actually, you know what? It was. It was. That is so not the point. That is so not the fucking point here. You know, as a loyal diehard Blackhawks fan who just wants to watch his godforsaken team play their first
Yeah.
preseason game, okay? I was kind of hyped for last night because I haven't seen Blackhawks hockey since April, the past few
Uh,
seasons. Um, and I was just looking forward to kicking back and seeing what kind of the young guns could do during the game. But it was so unbearable to watch just because it was like buffer, buffer, buffer. And then the fact that you can't even take time to make new Chicago sports network ads. They're the same stale ones from last year. And I'm not talking shit about the people talking about their collection of Blackhawk stuff. I think that's cool. But like they could have done new updated ads, instead of the Chicago security guy. This is our house.
Hey, as
I
somebody who
just
was a subscriber to the NHL $100, which I wish they should bring that back, the $100 like you pay this and you get every single team and watch them every single night sort of thing. Center icing was NHL Center Ice.
yeah,
As somebody who was a subscriber to that for many of years, they had the Malkin goal where he went through Tampa Bay, and that was from like 2012, 2013. They had that same highlight reel that played like for 6 years. So, I don't think you're gonna get your way with the commercials. Now, I'm only gonna say this because I didn't have any problems with that last night. I had no issues. That was good, dude. I turned it on, put it on my TV, and just let it rip, dude. That's all I had. I had no
dude, my
issues.
Xfinity internet is good though. Like that's the thing is like, so I don't understand it. Like I literally thought about taking my Ethernet cable from my router,
Yeah.
unplugging it from my PlayStation, and hardwiring that into my TV and seeing if the video quality was better.
That's what I did. I put it on my
I
laptop and I did that.
because I tested it when I found out that there was an app on my TV. I know I'm sounding like a total fucking boomer right now.
You are.
Um, you know, but I found out there was an app on my TV, so I didn't, have to live in the Stone Age and cast it from my phone. But it's like I get better quality and I get less, I guess, lag and buffer on like NHL 66.
Uh, you know, I too enjoy sailing the seven seas. And I too dun 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 dun. Yeah, that song plays every week on Sunday. So, that's I get you. This app sucks. The price is terrible. I don't know what
I'm
to say.
sorry, and I'm sorry to have to say this, but you're gonna pay 10 extra dollars to see the White Sox and Bulls? Hell no.
Nobody.
I mean,
Nobody is.
realistically, this app should be free with how bad our teams are in Chicago that are on this app. The
Listen,
Bulls are mid. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I would rather pay your parents to get their password so I can get it for free. Also, I guess it's not free from paying your parents, but I'd rather pay your parents the $10. I'd rather give your parents $10 than give the Chicago sports app $20. So
I mean, Jesus, dude. I mean, think of it this way, and I miss the days of NBC Sports Chicago. I
yeah,
really do because you put the game on their app works, it's perfect, it's fine, it works great.
yeah,
I honestly hate the Blackhawks for this, just for the simple fact of it was rushed. They had no TV deals signed last year, and it was just kind of like, here we go, we're here. Um, they had, I think, what was it? They announced that like 2 years ago that
yeah.
they were going to get their own station, which I still disagree with. They tried Hawk Vision before, and I know I'm going way before your time here. Um, where you could only see them there. Then they went to just road games, um, or if they played on Versus, and then they got their TV deal with Comcast Sportsnet. It's like they did so much to try and re-engage the fan base back in like the late 2000s, or like the before the 2010, like right
Yeah, I
before
get what you're saying.
they went into their dynasty years. And now I just feel like it's just we're taking so many steps back with this whole aspect.
I mean, if I had answers for it, I wouldn't be here. I think that I would. I don't know what the answer is. Honestly, I mean, the answer, I guess, is to put them on some random station, but then you gotta like they didn't want to do all that
So,
because they didn't want to like pay for a whole staff and that whole thing. It's just
but here's my
laziness,
thing.
honestly.
Look, the Dallas Stars network's free. Victory is free. The Victory Plus app to where you can watch Dallas Stars game is free.
Listen,
And
man, they don't want
they
money.
have an amazing team,
They
and
don't
they
want
let
money,
people
dude.
watch
They're
their games
they're
for
so
free.
stupid. They're stupid. We're smart. We're obviously smart. We're the ones making money off of this, and people are paying for it.
You
You just
know,
don't
it's
get you just don't get
ticket
this Dallas
prices are out.
Stars thinking.
Ticket prices are outrageous. Food and drinks are expensive. Parking's expensive. You spend, $300 give or take before you get into the stadium to watch a horrible product. And then you're on top of that, if I want to watch your games on TV, it's $20 a month. I don't know where the line ends here. And
There is no line.
while we're on the subject of entertainment purposes, they need they need to bring back whoever was doing their video editing for these opener videos. They need
Oh
to bring
yeah.
them back and just completely revamp everything. And I know I'm going on a rant here a
No,
little bit,
no, no, no. I get
but
you.
the Orchard video used to be so fucking awesome. It used to send chills down my spine
Yeah.
when I'd be in the United Center watching that. And then I go to a game last year and I'm like, this
CM
is it?
Punk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, cool, great that he's a wrestler, in the WWE. Or I'm sorry, I'm gonna piss off a lot of people because I don't know what organization he's from.
He's in
Um,
WWE.
I don't hate CM Punk, but I don't understand what he has to do with the Blackhawks.
He likes
Get
them.
back to what works.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't get it.
no, I get the frustration. I think that there's a when and I mean now I literally sound like Unk when I bring it up, but it's before they got the new big jumbotron thing. They had an opening that they do start the opening pretty cool with the actual horns. Now I will admit that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
But before they had it just playing over the speakers, and it was like showing all the history of the Blackhawks, and then it was them like skating into the city, and then it was
Oh, the Hit Eyes video, yeah,
and there
yeah,
was
the
the
Pirates of the
drums.
Caribbean theme.
Yeah, I loved it. Um, and I don't know for the reason like. I think that, and now you could especially do it because you have all the legacy pictures of the three cups. I think just, and they kind of do it still like with the stitching, and I don't mind the stitching of the jersey, but I think that everything leading up to that and after that kind of suck. And I don't know what exactly they need to do to bring up that hype again, but
Maybe fire
something's
JB
different there.
Faulkner.
Ah, yeah, I don't know. Oh man.
Business decisions are not good in that front office. That's the only place I'm going with that, I swear.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I just
I just from a fan aspect, I don't
yeah.
feel like she knows the Blackhawks fans very well and what sort of drew us to become diehard fans of the team.
Yeah, I was a season ticket holder of during Bedard's first season. And I went to I would say probably 15, 20 games, and which is I'm very blessed to be able to do that. When it doesn't even matter if they sucked either. It was just cool, be able to
Mm.
go to the games. Whenever I would talk to their front office, and this I would talk with them because I would whenever I go to the games, we pick up random stuff, and because I have a friend who works over there, and
Yes,
I
man.
don't know.
I'm just kidding. I'm just
I,
kidding.
I actually can.
No,
Um,
I'm kidding. You
but
don't have to.
whenever I would talk with some of the front office people, not front office into like the GM or anything, I'm talking actually like the people who work with ticketing and that sort of stuff. It's like I don't know if they super get like what they have in terms of like a product where it's like, when you get the calls and being like, hey, you want to re-up your season tickets, it's like, they suck, right? And it's like, then they kind of gingerly say, yeah, maybe, yeah. And it's like, we just want your money. And it's like, I know, I get it, but like, I would be way more willing to give you my money if you, the person working for the team, would give me an actual, like, if you knew who the players were and you understood where we're at and how you can actually sell me on being, and like, that's kind of like a top down in terms of like marketing for where you're at. For me personally, you gotta sell me on why I
Mhm.
want to go get season ticket, and that's a deeper thing in terms of like
Yeah,
how you get people, how much time you want to actually waste with each individual person. But it's like, if you're selling season tickets, it's like, you know, you're selling people on the experience of being able to see, uh, maybe not the best hockey, but this is an original six team. This is a team that has a tradition. This is a team that I don't know has been kind of uh, maligned in the back rooms for the last couple of years, but it still has that tradition of being a team that you should want to buy season tickets even if they suck. It's like they sell Maple Leafs tickets for over $150, and when they sucked ass, and people would still go. I know different market, but it's like you should be pushing this team to not, oh, they're just the Blackhawks. It's like, no, I don't know. I think that's marketing for the US with hockey in general, but like the Bears have sucked for so long, and the Blackhawks won three Stanley Cups, and it's like they're still second fiddle, not even second fiddle, third, fourth fiddle in the Chicago market, and it's because they don't market the Blackhawks to be this must-see product. They don't engage with the fans to make this a more well-known sport. They don't engage like easily this market should be treating it like Minnesota Wild, like the Minnesota Wild. As much as I love to hate on them, call them the Minnesota Mild. It's like that you can't tell me that their fans don't care because that's all they
right,
talk about. And I know it's different market, but it's not. They have the fucking Vikings. We have the Bulls who suck. We have the Bears
right.
who suck. Like, and the Cubs have just made the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. The White Sox suck. And you mean to tell me the team that won three Stanley Cups in the past 10 years maybe not what last 15 years.
15,
You
15. Yeah, I know what you're
yeah,
saying.
you know. So it's like
What are
at
we,
this
yeah, what are we
point,
doing here?
why do they have
Because,
a radio show at 8 a.m. on Saturdays with Eddie Olchuk, and that's our draw. It's like I'm really happy to see a lot of the YouTube community. We're joining it, a lot of the YouTube community with the Blackhawks. Like there's a lot of
mhm,
Blackhawks YouTubers coming up now, and I think that's gonna help provide hype for the game. But at the same time, it's like on the outside sources of what like on the day-to-day basis, it's like I just don't understand why we're like all the way. And I know hockey is like this niche sport, but it's like it doesn't need to be when you had a winning team.
right.
I don't know.
Well, and a lot of stuff has happened, and that's about as far as I'm going to go into that.
Yeah.
That where it, I don't know, maybe turn some people who liked the Blackhawks off, which okay, that's understandable. But at the same
It was
time,
hard to be I mean as one of those people, I was turned off by what had happened, and
mhm,
I'm not again not going into detail with it because we don't need to.
right,
But
right.
like on the very, very simple aspects of it, it was like, yeah, it was kind of hard to be a fan. And yeah, the answers that were given to us at that time kind of sucked. And it's like, I mean, just from again, from an outsider's perspective, being like, how am I gonna sell that to somebody as a like, how imagine that season ticket call. Hey, uh, you wanna? Hey, I don't even want to be on
Yeah,
that. That must have sucked. But
right.
that's just it's not that's part of the conversation. Yes, I understand. But also it was like when the team was good, we still only had like an hour long hockey pod or hockey radio show on Saturdays on ESPN. Like even at the
Right.
peak of this power, like while it was popular, the people loved hockey. People still love hockey, but it just wasn't at that level of like I don't know promotion. I don't know what else. Like, what else could you do? It's like, you know. I don't know, just don't make it seem like it's such a far away thing from people. I don't know. It makes it seem like this is within grasp. It's like, no, we need to. Why do people love the Bears so much? Football. It's like, well, because we had the Walter Payton, we had the Bears, the Midway, the monsters of the Midway. It's like we won three
Well, we
fucking
had the
cups.
we had the Met House on Madison, and we don't even have that anymore.
Yeah. So
That's what I mean.
I
Like
don't know.
they've changed like with their marketing strategy, they've just changed so much. It's like I basically like go to games like for like because I took my niece to Blackhawks games last year. We're taking my son and he's free still. So it's like, I'll still do it. But it's like after that, I don't have a reason to spend money to go see this team.
Right.
When I could go see way more competitive hockey down in Rockford or up in Rockford, I'm in the middle, literally in the middle of the United Center and the BMO Harris Center. So let's see. Do I want to spend tickets for 20? Do I want to spend, well, even Rockford's tickets are going up. So like say for example, I think it was a few years ago, it was like $30 you could sit on the glass.
Hmm.
$30 doesn't even get you in the United Center anymore. No, I'm not trying to have a boomer unk moment here. Um, but for as bad as they've been, ticket prices should not be going up for that. But I know they need to keep,
Yeah.
raising money, to pay for this big, beautiful, obnoxious scoreboard that they got a few years ago. Heaven forbid. I love where their mentality and where the priorities lie. But at some point, for the diehard hockey fan that does not have season tickets, you're going to have to wow me. It's coming to that point where you're going to have to wow me. You're going to have to make me excited to want it to go buy tickets to go to a game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just because I'm sick in the head and I just love watching hockey, I'll pay for it anyway. And that's kind of like, I know it goes against. It's like I don't know, man. It's like I guess it's I'm one of those people where you know how people are like, don't go shop at Target or Walmart because you got to go and boycott them. It's like I'm going to fucking Target or Walmart. Yeah, I'm not. It's not gonna make that big of a difference. They need to, if they want to change, they need to make the change themselves. So it's like, I'm not me, my ticket. It's just, I don't know. It's a whole society thing where it's like I don't. We make a difference with our wallets. Yes, we do. But at the same time, you need enough of a push from everybody to not
Mhm.
go to it to do it. And it's like, look at the Maple Leafs, who are one of the most popular things. Hockey is the number one sport in Canada. I understand this. But look at the Maple Leafs. They haven't done shit and they still raise prices. They raised all their prices with the season tickets this year for Maple Leafs and they haven't won shit. They haven't done any,
No,
and they're not doing anything with the season tickets either. So it's not like they're having a fun new experience, meet the players. It's like still arm's length, like you are the peasant fan. They, stay away from me. Um,
speaking of which, they announced their plans, their membership plans for this year, and I couldn't believe the pricing on these. When I tell you that tickets for the 100 level were 25 fucking grand a seat, the 300 level was 5 grand a seat. Because I was thinking, okay, cool, it might be fun, to do with my wife this year. I saw that not only did I almost shit a brick, but I almost had a heart attack too. And it just boggles my mind. I do
I'll
not
I'll go
understand it.
in. I'll go in on you with that if you want. If you wanna.
No, you're again. If this team was a Stanley Cup caliber team, I'm probably fighting with my wife to get membership tickets, and I'm probably fighting her on that to drain a little bit of our savings to do that. But I'm not going to go do it to see. And I'm not trashing these guys. I'm just saying I'm not going. I'm not paying 5 grand to go fucking see Connor Bedard and Nick Foligno. It's not.
I get it.
If you,
I get it.
yeah, and I love
I
I love
get you.
those guys. Don't get me wrong. You know,
Yeah.
if this team was still, with peak Patrick Kane, Jonathan Tays,
Yeah.
Jalmer Sid, Keith and Seabrook, we're having a different conversation. But
Maybe.
something's gonna have
Maybe.
to give. Something's gonna have to give.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, who knows what that is? I don't know what that is.
I
But
still don't
that
know how people afford to. How do you afford to drink at the United Center?
I don't. I don't.
These
That's what
are
I do.
I don't either. I
I go
remember.
there. I don't even know how much average. I mean, like let's just say if I get two tickets, it's like if I get a good seat that I want, it's probably like $90. So let's just say it's $90 wherever I buy it. And then you go there, pay for parking, it's like $25. So then now we're up to, let's just say 20 to $115 just to walk into the building. So the $115, then you go and get a drink and something else. It's probably like $25 if you're with somebody and you're paying for them. Let's just say it's 50. So we're already at $180 to just pay for something to get in there. And then I don't know, say you're hungry for something else. You want something else. Probably won't because they already spent $180. Um,
Right.
let's just say you do. It's the $20, so $200 in the bag. You want to go and get a hat. Hat's fucking $40. So you're $240 and you spent 240 on one game for 3 hours. And get this, they probably lost. So,
They
um,
probably, yeah, you know what? They probably went down by three early, did this fake bullshit con artist thing that they did last year where they'd score 2 goals in the third period and then they give up the empty netter. Now Seth Jones isn't on the team to pass it to the other team to score the empty netter. Thank God. And hey, Florida Panther fans, you have at him. I know he won a Stanley Cup with you guys this year, but I look at it that he was turning the puck over and they were always getting scored on when he was on the ice.
yeah, yeah,
Fucking have him, enjoy him.
yeah. Take them.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
200.
I'll,
Do it
I'll
just
wrap it up there.
Yeah, 200 something. Anyway, that yeah, I guess that's why James hates the CHCSNF. That's why
And
he
yeah,
hates
it
the
turned into a yeah, and I'm starting my war on Jamie Faulkner in the front office.
let us know in the comments below what you think about that. Um
If there's any hate at me directed at me about my take on Jamie Faulkner, it's probably one of her burners, and I don't know if I can take it seriously.
Probably not. She doesn't take us seriously, so who cares? I think we'll skip the other two for right now just because we're running a little bit long. But I do want to mention, Jonathan Taves was in a Jets
Mhm.
jersey. Um, Weird or not weird?
Very weird.
Yeah, very weird.
He looks good. I'm glad and I'm happy for him that he's able to come back and live out his dream. Being that he is almost 40 years old.
Yeah,
I do hate that some of these adversity that he's had during his career, whether it be the long COVID, I'm glad that he's able to come back from that. Um,
right.
but God, does it look wrong to see him in a Winnipeg Jets jersey?
Yeah, it does. I actually watched all the highlights of him the other night. He looked fine with speed. He got into it a little bit. He was always getting pucks, shoveling pucks out from the corner. It looked like he was getting the pucks to people. Um, he looked like a player that deserves to have a spot in the NHL. So I'm happy for him to be able to continue his career. Sucks it didn't just kind of it sucks it didn't end the way he wanted it to with the Blackhawks.
Hmm.
But I think it's cool and I'm gonna be excited. Hopefully he stays healthy and is able to be here when they come in that Winnipeg game in
January
January,
19th.
December.
January
Feb
19th.
We should go. We should go to that game.
I was actually thinking about going already just because I do want to see his return. I was there for oh God, who came back? And
Patrick
I
Kane,
know I'm not. No, it wasn't Kaner. I wish. No, it was
Phil
shit.
Kessel.
It was someone. He would have helped that lineup last night.
It's Phil Kessel's
Um,
return
no, it was somebody's retirement ceremony, and I don't remember. I'm having a moment here. Um,
last
and then
year.
it was no, this was a couple years ago. I
Hossa?
maybe I feel like I would have remembered that though.
I feel like it needs. I think it
He is
was
my
Hossa.
favorite player.
I don't know if there
I
was
know I was
anybody
there.
else retired.
I know when Quenville made his first return with Florida back to the United Center, I was there, uh, which was a fun game. Um, I don't fucking remember, dude.
Yeah,
I'm having
we'll
a
get there.
moment
We'll
here.
get. But we should
Yeah,
go to
we'll
the
get there.
Winnipeg Jets game. We should go to the Winnipeg Jets game. Um.
We
Anyway,
will
guys, what do
we
you
will
guys?
definitely see that.
We should. We should. Anyway, guys, what do you guys think of Taves in a Jets jersey? Is it weird? Do you care? Are you invested in his return? Let us know in the comments below. And with that, guys, we're gonna end this week's video. We are happy to be talking about actual Blackhawks hockey. We're happy to be here complaining with you guys. And if you like to hear us complain, consider subscribing, consider commenting below. We would love to hear your guys' thoughts. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.